The first episode opens with a spaceship approaching Kepler-22b. The ship comes to a standstill at the brink of a crater after a violent landing. Inside, the male android known as Father inquires if the female android known as Mother has been injured. After ensuring her safety, Father goes outside to check on the ship's condition. Father hurriedly orders Mother to evacuate the ship as the ship is on the point of plummeting into the crater. The two androids take their supplies calmly and flee barely in time before their spaceship crashes into the crater. They are still exploring the planet. The androids eventually find a good site to reside after a long trek. Mother lays down a spherical device that converts into a dome shelter. She falls asleep inside the tent as Father arranges various devices around her. When the devices are ready, Father begins the first trimester. He connects many umbilical tubes to Mother's abdomen, which she activates. Father temporarily suspends his carpentry work 9 months later to check on Mother's condition. Father cracks a joke in an attempt to lighten the mood, but Mother stays unimpressed. Father then cuts the umbilical cords and begins pulling the human babies from their containers. Except for the sixth baby, who appears to be unresponsive, all the other babies are healthy. Father assumes it's lifeless at first and prepared to process it, but Mother, alarmed, wants to hold the silent baby. Father relents after some hesitation. Mother cradles the unresponsive infant while humming a lullaby and shedding tears onto the baby. The infant miraculously comes to life, and the two androids rejoice. The father then follows their programming by calling the youngest child Campion after their creator. The name Strong is approved by Mother. Mother and Father devote themselves to raising the children as the years pass. They come across the skeleton of a big beast while working in their fields one day. They unearth it and prepare it for the children with glee. Later, when Mother introduces it to the children, Father hides inside the skull to surprise them. They live happily in their camp until one awful day. Tally exits the house and goes into the bush while the rest of the family gathers at the meal. Mother goes outdoors to look for Tally after realizing she is missing. In the meantime, Father and the rest of the family join the search. Regrettably, they arrive too late. Tally's doll is discovered by a grieving mother near the crater where the android ship crashed upon arrival. She hugs Tally's toy and howls like a wolf to grieve the loss of one child. Tally's name is later carved on a tombstone when the family performs a funeral for her. Campion then recounts how, at that time, he discovered that the world is unconcerned about their happiness or misery. After Tally's death, the family goes on with their lives, but they suffer difficulties. The children become ill one by one, and Mother and Father can only watch sadly as their children succumb to their ailments. Campion and Spiria are the only siblings who survive. Despite the difficulties they've endured, Campion remains confident in Mother and Father, believing that they can put things right. Mother had a chat with the two children about the Mithraic and the androids one night. She emphasizes that while believing in unreal things can offer consolation, it can also weaken the human mind. She reveals that the civilization they are building will be based on humanity's belief in itself, rather than a fictitious divinity. Campion asks, what if Mithraic ideas are true, pointing out that the Mithraic won the fight? He wonders whether prayer can help his sister, Spiria. Mother quickly tells Campion that it will not happen, underlining that only science will be able to help her sister. Campion reacts by pointing out that science did not save his siblings' lives. Mother is certain that they must learn more in order to avoid another calamity, and she advises them against taking refuge in fantasy, underlining their status as peaceful and technocratic atheists. She advises the children, smiling, to consider how the number 5 connects to the various forms of life. Father, meantime, is outdoors, staring at a spaceship in the sky. Campion awakens soon after and discovers both androids by Spiria's bedside. Father is concerned about Campion, as Mother sings a lullaby to a sleeping Spiria. The next day, Mother transports Spiria's body to the burial place, where Father and Campion await. Campion shares his view that they do not belong on the world, as Father prepares to bury the deceased. Mother reassures Campion that their creators do not want him to give up, in an attempt to raise his morale. Campion is alarmed when she has a nervous breakdown, with white fluid pouring down her nose. He seeks answers from Father, but Father is similarly perplexed about what is happening to Mother. He chooses to transport her to the barracks for evaluation. Mother regains consciousness and claims to be just overburdened. Father, concerned, tries to urge her to seek a diagnosis, but she flatly refuses. Father buries Spiria, while Mother consoles Campion. Father later finds Campion praying in one of their sheds and warns him not to let Mother catch him in the act. Campion keeps silent and goes about his work. Mother realizes Campion is gloomy and not eating his dinner later that night. She sits alongside him and remarks, in Spiria's voice, that he appears fatigued. Campion, surprised, admits that he misses his sister. Mother uses Spiria's voice again, telling Campion to relax and reminds him that Spiria would say the same thing. She soon returns to her regular voice and agrees with the child. Campion subsequently shows his concern over losing Spiria's face and his trouble remembering his other siblings. Mother responds by using her android skills to morph her face into Spiria's, which makes Campion happy. He wonders why she has never done this before. A happy mother admits she was unaware of this skill and comments that it is not listed in her build description. She smiles at Campion, who's overjoyed to see his sister again. Campion decides to accompany Father when he leaves their campground the next day. When he finally catches up with Father, he realizes that he intends to descend into the Forbidden Crater. Campion tries to persuade him, but Father has other plans. Campion is informed that the Mithraic Ark has arrived and is orbiting the planet. Father intends to descend into the crater and make contact with their old ship. He believes that once he and Mother are no longer functional, this is the greatest way for Campion to survive. Campion, perplexed, points out that the Mithraic are their adversaries. Father reveals that the conflict has ended, and the Mithraic are the last survivors of Campion's race. He feels they will be delighted to have someone as capable as Campion join them. Campion then inquires as to whether the Mithraic can restore the two androids and keep them from decaying. Father admits that it is within their capabilities, but seeing that it is impossible, he fabricates a story and promises Campion that the Mithraic will be willing to help. Before entering the crater, Father asks Campion to keep everything from Mother a secret. A concerned Campion inquires about the serpents in the crater as Father prepares to descend. Father explains that these creatures are extinct and that they are meant to keep children away from the region. Father abandons his intention shortly after as the ropes begin to fray. Campion offers to go down the crater in place of Father because he weighs less. Father refuses the request at a weigh, stressing the danger, and advises they try again the next day with a stronger rope. Mother loses control after Father admits that they both failed to safeguard their children. Her lips begins to bleed white fluid, and she furiously strikes Father. Despite Father's efforts to restrain her, Mother eventually overpowers and murders him. Mother notifies Campion the next day that Father has permanently shut down. She reveals that Father kept Campion in the dark regarding his illness in order to keep him calm. Campion, in shock, wants to see Father, but Mother refuses, noting the danger that they become radioactive when they stop working. Campion eventually departs the tent while Mother is sleeping. He lowers to the ship of the androids and activates its communication system. In an attempt to summon assistance, he accidentally activates the ship's boosters. Campion, fortunately, escapes this perilous scenario unscathed. When he returns to the encampment, he discovers Mother dead on the ground. Time passes as he lies down alongside her. They awaken one day after hearing human voices nearby. They notice numerous males in their tent, who are all Mithraic. Mother advises Campion not to expose her android status before the males arrive. The Mithraic troops identify themselves and express amazement at the presence of humanity on the planet, believing that all of Earth's survivors are aboard their ark. Mother politely requests the soldiers to go, eager to finish the confrontation. One of the soldiers, however, begs food because they are hungry. Mother invites them into their home and feeds them with caution. While eating, the troops question Campion about their encampment, and he gives them honest replies. Mother eventually demands that the soldiers go once they finish eating, but the leader of the soldiers asks if they can remain the night. Mother grudgingly allows the soldiers to stay due to Campion's request. She directs them to the dome tent for lodging. The troop's commander, on the other hand, discloses that they're aware she is an android and deduces what has happened between Mother and Campion thus far. They decide to take Campion and leave Mother behind. The boss assigns their robot, Jin, to deal with her, figuring that because she is a low-end model, It will be easy. The soldiers pick foodstuffs from the encampment the next day, and their chief tries to persuade Campion to accompany them. Mother steps in, sparking a clash with Jin. Mother, much to everyone's surprise, proves to be a capable opponent and defeats Jin. Campion is terrified as she continues to eliminate the Mithraic soldiers one by one. Seeing his terror, she abandons him and pursues the commander of the soldiers. The soldier races to his ship, but Mother catches up with him and throws him out. She boards his ship and sails toward the Mithraic mothership. Once inside, Mother begins eliminating everyone in her path. The Mithraic troops try to fight back, but they are unable to injure the android. She moves slowly towards the ship's control room, leaving a trail of blood behind her. When Mother enters the control room, she directs the ship to collide with Kepler 22b. Just before departing from the mothership, she discovers several children on board. She closes her eyes to greet them and warmly embraces one of the children upon arriving in their room. Back at the encampment, Campion attempts to give a proper burial to the deceased soldiers. While doing so, he witnesses the mothership crashing and exploding in the nearby mountain range. During this time, the soldier's leader from earlier also observes the explosion from a distance. He makes attempts to contact his comrades, but receives no response. Shortly thereafter, Mother arrives at the encampment with the children she rescued from the Mithraic ship. She attempts to embrace Campion, but realizes he's frightened. She advises him to do his best to help their new friends feel comfortable. She then departs, mentioning she has other tasks to attend to. Campion expresses his belief that he was never truly safe with her. The episode concludes with Campion suggesting that there might be something dangerous lurking inside him as well. Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this.